Good morning, brothers and sisters. Here we are, the final day of the lunar cycle week. And you know that you got to lighten up a little bit, which is hard to do when your focus is continuously outside of yourself. And we're also concerned with friends and family who are at risk or maybe already have contracted the disease, and it's potential that we know people who've already passed away. But nonetheless, yoga tries to get you to lighten things up. If the disciple asks the master, is it okay to use email? The master's going to say, oh, it's okay, just don't use any attachments, which is what they say, and I'm from New York, where you used to get to the hot dog vendor on the street, and something with the works is the standard phrase. Give me the works: mustard, sauerkraut, relish, whatever. But there's another guy who goes to the hot dog vendor. In fact, he was a Swami. So he tried to be slick. He says, make me one with everything. And he hands the guy a $20 bill. The guy gives him the bun, the burger, the frankfurter, and then he pockets the money. And the Swami looks at him and says, excuse me, don't I get any money back? $20 is really expensive for a frankfurter. And the guy says, Swami, you should know this. Change must come from within. So that's what yoga is telling us. Even the scriptures, even the Upanishads, from the Mundaka Upanishad. The question is, Master, what is that which, when known, all is known? And the Master replied, sages say there are two kinds of wisdom, the higher and the lower. The lower wisdom is the four sacred Vedas, and in the six kinds of knowledge that help us to know, to sing, and to use the Vedas, definition and grammar, pronunciation and poetry, ritual and the signs of heaven. But the higher wisdom is that which leads to the eternal. Spirit is beyond thought and invisible, beyond family and color. Spirit has neither eyes nor ears. Spirit has neither hands nor feet. Spirit is everlasting and omnipresent, infinite in the great and infinite in the small. Spirit is the eternal, whom the sages see as the source of all creation. Even as a spider sends forth and draws in its thread, even as plants arise from the earth and the hairs from the body of a human, even so the whole creation arises from the eternal. So basically everything we're doing is trying to experience spirit. Now, the fourth chapter of the Yoga Sutras uses the word kaivalya, which sometimes is called, translated as aloneness or isolation, a certain kind of aloofness. But whether or not we get to that state where we can experience consciousness as the same as spirit, I think it really means that your practice helps you stand apart and get a perspective that isn't involved totally in the fray. Although I keep saying you have to work with your incarnation, but you can get perspective if you can find a way to drop out of your incarnation or see from a different vantage point. Now, Shiva, who is the Lord of Yoga and the protector of yogis, is sometimes known as Shiva Nataraj. That's where he does the dance, which is just like the goddess. When we talked about the goddess does the sport and the play, the Leela, well, Shiva does his dance as well. And he's also called the conqueror of death, Mrityam Jaya. So there's just something about, now again, does it mean it prevents you from dying? No, but it helps to give perspective so that while you're alive, you're fully alive. And that's why he's also called the giver of joy, Shankara. So we're doing two things here. We're confronting mortality, finding if there's anything eternal within us, what does it have to do with the spirit, and how does that function within a human being? Then how does that bring joy, a certain kind of vitality, vivaciousness in your life? All right? Because if you don't do this, they're telling you your life, because of ignorance and not knowing this, makes choices that are filled with dukkha, which we call suffering or pain, but the real translation is the axle hole. And if the axle hole is off, which all the hubs of the wheel spit into, it's going to be a bumpy ride. And since they say, Hayam dukkam anangatam, the pain which is to come, we have a lot of leverage over that. Can't do anything about what's hurt in the past. Even the stuff that's hurting right now, not too much we can do. But the stuff in the future, especially if it's connected to things we do, and then based on cause and effect, the karma that accrues to that, we can do a lot about that. So, let's see what we can do today. Today we're going to work on open nostril breathing, but we're going to do the Ujjayi breathing first, then the left nostril Ardha Chandra breath, inhale left, exhale right. Then the anuloma breath, just inhale both, exhale right, inhale both, exhale left. And then finally, all leading up to Nadi Shodhana. Inhale right, exhale left, exhale right. Let's get to it. Find your seat. Remember, you're lifting from the anterior pubis, so it isn't just the side trunk lifting, but deep from the base of the spine. Yesterday I said if you press your thighs down, you feel there's an extra lift that comes from the lower portion of the pelvic area. Then you want to tuck your chin without hardening your throat, keeping the shoulders down so there's no strain at the base of the neck. Then lightly close your eyes and look within. Take a few slow inhales and exhales. Remember, hints and cautions in yoga, they always say avoid your bowels and bladder before you start practicing. You're going to be moving your stomach in a way, and you don't want any uncomfortable feeling in the lower intestinal area to prevent you from being completely absorbed in what you're doing. And again, fidgetiness, restlessness, all has to do with not having sufficient mastery of asana, which it says in the sutras, right? That the effort to attain the posture has to disappear. Because if you're not completely at ease and just natural as can be, it makes it hard for you to concentrate because your attention will constantly be captured by the tension. So, find an effortless place. Let all striving to be elsewhere disappear. Like one of the tantras say, what's here is elsewhere, what's not here is not elsewhere. So the omniscience, omnipresence, omnipotence of the spirit is absolutely here right now. So withdraw your attention from everything else and slowly start Ujjayi inhale and Ujjayi exhale. Smooth, soft, slow inhalation. Smooth, soft, slow exhalation. No harshness, no aggressiveness, no pulling on the breath. At the end of the inhale, don't shrug the shoulders and gather the breath up to the top of the throat. And when you exhale, don't suddenly collapse and drop down. The pata kumbha of the body maintains its lift and its width. All right, so now we begin. Exhale, raise your hand, block the right, inhale through the left. Then block the left, exhale through the right. Continue. This is continuous cycles. We've practiced over the last couple of months now, daily, if you've been doing this daily. Building for the newcomers again. If you need to take a restorative breath after each cycle, perfectly okay, one and done, or more restorative breaths. The important thing is to continue to monitor how comfortable you feel, how relaxed you feel, how non-aggressive you are. Make the breath quieter and quieter, subtler and subtler. Again, while you're breathing, continue to monitor what's happening in your posture. You don't want to lift your chest or poke your ribs forward so it causes too much lumbar curve. In fact, you can say, put your mind deep into the base of the pubis and from there to the abdominal area, and then draw it back toward the lumbar and the navel. In addition to lifting it up, draw it back, and you'll feel all of a sudden the activation in your legs. And that's why we stretched in the standing poses so much, to keep the roots of the thighs open, flexible. All right, so now you've done the breath for about 2 minutes. Now we're going to switch. Take a restorative breath first to kind of shift gears. And now we move into anuloma. Raise the hand, widen both nostrils and inhale. Block the left and exhale right. Open both nostrils again, inhale. Then block the right and exhale left. And then continue in the same manner, anuloma. Make sure that the spine, which is in the back, and the breastbone, which is in the front, are vertical and perpendicular to the floor. That's going to support the lift in your side trunk as well, because we want expansion of the breath moving laterally, sideways and upwards. Now that you're using your fingers to digitally control the two different sides, you want to compare the pressure of the fingers on the nostrils, the size of the different nostril holes, which change day to day depending on humidity, what you've eaten, the general shape of your nostrils, and so forth. Now remember, when you're breathing, even though you're lifting an arm, make sure that that arm is not pinned down against your chest or too wide to the side. You have to find a balance in how you raise your hand with the wrist away from your face so that the shoulders stay level, parallel to the floor. So now you're going to finish one more round of wide nostril inhale, right nostril exhale, and then wide nostril inhale, and left nostril exhale. You're going to drop your hand and take another restorative breath or two. Always checking in with your own proprioception. What is the feedback you're getting from your skin about your position in space and what kind of balance there is between one side and the other? And then you can feel all those baroreceptors, the ones that monitor the arterial pressure. How are they relaxing, releasing? And remember, it takes time for some of the stress chemicals, stress hormones to break down, wear off, and return your body to a homeostatic sense of balance, evenness. So take your time, don't rush. And then we're going to do the final technique, which is Nadi Shodhana. Exhale the breath on the next restorative cycle. Raise the hand. And now block the left inhale right. Block the right exhale left. And inhale through the open left. Block the left exhale through the open right. Continue in your own pace. So whichever nostril you inhale, you exhale in the opposite nostril. Whichever nostril you just exhale through, inhale through that one. And work the two sides. You can envision the breath going into the back of the throat, down through the pharynx and larynx. You can feel the windpipe of the trachea branching off into the bronchi. And then those little sacs in the lungs called the alveoli. So you want to expand. Don't overexpand the bottom part of your lungs, because the top lungs, the apices, are narrow, the bases are broad. So learn to open up the intercostal muscles smoothly, sequentially, from bottom to top. Feel how Nadi Shodhana, the alternate nostril breath, does the major cleansing, which opens the central canal, according to yoga theory, called the Sushumna. It allows the passage of blocked energy from the base of the spine to go to your head, your brain, and charge the centers, awakening areas that have been lying fallow, but waiting to be tapped for the potential that we all have. So we're going to finish one more round at your own pace of inhaling through the right, blocking right and exhaling through the left, inhaling through the left, blocking the left and exhaling through the right, and then end with an inhale through the right nostril. And drop your hand, keep the eyes closed, feel what you've done. And And you can slowly bring the head on the spine with the eyes closed. And then get your diffused gaze as you open your eyes slowly. Come back. So when you're practicing at home, you can extend the amount of time. I'm just giving you the template. You can do the breath with the partially closed nostrils. You can do the breath with the kumbhakas after the inhale or after the exhale. You can do the breath with the bandhas, pulling the root lock after the inhale, or the Uddiyana Bandha after the exhale. But as I've given this in a sequence, you realize the whole idea is to build up your ability to do that. And next week we'll start, tomorrow we'll start a whole new series of practices for the next week, combining a number of these different breaths as we've been doing now, but taking to the next level. So have a good day. Peace.